Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today, today is Hump Day. So guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as I always like to say, the fun is all in the trying. It's looking like my good friend, Mr. Pirowarski, or Mikey P, as we like to call him, looks like he's started his weekend early. We're going to drag him out of his weekend on Thursday or Friday. But today it looks like, he's off today. So we're going to have a good time. It's going to be me. It's going to be you. We're going to have a great time. If you are watching us live, I need your help. I like this when it's a conversation. We always do better. Maybe it's just me. I do better when it's a conversation. So do me a favor. If you're watching us live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching us on YouTube, you're watching us on Facebook, you're watching us on Rumble, you're watching us on Twitter, please go ahead and comment. I am following your comments, and I will share them with the audience if I find them to be interesting. I don't have to agree with them. I may argue with them if I disagree with them, but I don't have to agree with them. I just like having the conversation. So please go ahead, comment, let us know. By the way, when you comment, let us know where you're commenting from so that we can give a shout out, not just to you, but maybe give a shout out to your neighbors as well. Speaking of shout outs, you know what time it is, folks. It's time for us to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. If you have an AR platform rifle and you are looking to rebarrel it, can't think of a better place for you to go than hitmanindustries.net. Maybe you want to do a brand new build on an AR platform. Once again, can't think of a better place for you to go than Hitman Industries. They have rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you. And if you are a first responder and you've never purchased from them before, you're going to get a discount. So check them out today at hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. They are the largest and the fastest growing grassroots conservative MAGA organization in the state of California. Check them out today at cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters. You can find them at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG, holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. They have the top of the line of concealed carry tactical holsters for whatever firearm or for whatever setup you have for that firearm. Just go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, and you're going to get a discount on us. So check them out today, hogholsters.com. And then finally, the weather's changing, so you may need to get you some wet weather gear, to kind of go with your hot weather gear, or maybe to go with the cold weather gear. Whatever you're looking for, they have all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. Go to their website. Check them out today. They've got a huge selection. They've got excellent prices and fast shipping. Check them out. Veteran-owned and operated, uscombatgear.com. All right, much has been made about Vice President Kamala Harris and her lack of willingness to do public interviews. Not just interviews, but she'll do softball interviews. Like she'll go and she'll do local interviews where they ask her about her blouse, or she'll go and she'll do like the National Association of Black Journalists, and they'll tell her, how is it to be so wonderful, and why is joy so important to you? Or she'll go and she'll do an infomercial on CNN where, she does a 1-hour show of which only 16 minutes is interview and the rest of it is either commercials or infomercial for her and her what do you call it? Emotional support vice presidential nominee, Mr. Walz. But she won't go and do any tough interviews. And she's been questioned about this, or it's been brought up many, many times. CNN has brought it up. ABC has brought it up. A lot of reporters have brought it up. Well, one particular reporter at MSNBC, she made it a point to note that, she really doesn't have to do any interviews. And guess what? that very same reporter actually scored the next interview with Kamala Harris. Here it is, MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle, who just days ago defended Kamala's policy vagueness, scores first solo network sit-down with Dem presidential nominee. It says here, Vice President Kamala Harris will do her first solo network interview as the Democratic presidential nominee with MSNBC host Stephanie Ruhle Wednesday evening, just days after the anchor defended the candidate's vague policy statements. Quote, when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number, Ruhle said Friday of calls for Harris to explain her policy positions. MSNBC announced the interview Wednesday morning on X, less than a week after Ruhle defended Harris's failure to articulate clear policy positions on comedian Bill Maher's show, Real Time. During the show, New York Times columnist Bret Stephens said voters, quote, don't know Harris's answers to anything. Quote, I would just say that when you move to Nirvana, give me your real estate broker's number. I'll be your next door neighbor. We don't live there, Ruhle responded. Kamala Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump, Ruhle continued. We have two choices, and so there are two things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, we know exactly what Trump will do, who he is, and the kind of threat he is to democracy. Now, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the fact that here's someone who's supposed to be covering this election. She's supposed to be covering this election, but it looks like she's doing more than covering the election. It sounds to me like she's advocating, like she's campaigning. And she's not just campaigning for anybody. She's campaigning for the president. Or let me clarify. The vice president. She's not just campaigning for the vice president. She's campaigning against the former president. And one would raise the question then, is she the proper person? Does she have the credibility to be able to actually do this sort of an interview? Or at the very least, maybe let me put it this way. Maybe she has the credibility to do the interview, because anybody can do an interview, but is this really an interview? Or is this just another infomercial? Is this going to be an instance where she is basically going to, figure out exactly what it is that people want to hear and make sure that they hear it in this interview. Make sure that she asks questions. She doesn't do anything to put Kamala Harris in any strange predicament, because keep in mind, once again, her goal, as has been admitted, her goal is to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't win. In fact, while I was just kind of rambling on there for a minute, I actually was able to pull down that interview, or that little segment there, because I want you guys to hear it. I want you to don't just take my word. I want you to understand these are her words, not mine.
Questions. It's not too much to ask Kamala, say, are you for a Palestinian state if Hamas is going to run that state?
Okay.
Yes or no?
And let's say you don't like her answer. Are you going to vote for Donald Trump?
No, I'm not.
Kamala
I just said I'm not going to vote for her.
Harris is not running for perfect. She's running against Trump. We have two choices. And so there are some things you might not know her answer to. And in 2024, unlike 2016 for a lot of the American people,